here's an advertisement for guns, weapons of mass destruction.
See, now this is where you and I differ because if we got a gun sponsor tomorrow, I would sell out today. I would sell out yesterday. I would have
Absolutely.
a Punisher t-shirt and I would just be all in at the drop of a hat.
Jesus.
$50. If they give us $50, I'm in. I
That's
will
so
go
little money.
I will sell my soul for $50. Easy.
If that isn't the cold open, I don't know what is. One, two, three, four.
These boys only want the best of. They want the cream of the crop. They don't want none of that Michael Bay shit. They want the shit that pops. Oscar bait, black and white. Maybe something French. If it's got more than one explosion, honey, put that shit on the bench. Oscar Wieners, Oscar Wieners, Oscar Wieners. These boys are the Oscar Wieners.
Yum, yum.
Oscar Wieners.
Welcome to Oscar Wieners, the only show on the internet where Hollywood's biggest night is 24/7.
24 hours.
Do me a
7.
favor. Don't interrupt me during the intro.
I'm trying to get.
Do me a favor.
I mean, I'm just trying to get. My agent said I need more screen time, so I'm just trying to. Sorry, go ahead, dude.
My
Do your
agent
thing.
said you have too much screen time, and they're supposed to broker a deal with your agents.
Well, my agent said your agent's kind of a doo-doo brain, chimp head. So do your little intro.
Welcome to Oscar Wieners, the only show on the internet where Hollywood's biggest night is 24/7.
24 hours,
I-
baby.
I
7
am
days a week.
I am Michael. Oh,
And I'm Richard Dreyfuss, but you can call me Ander.
uh, this is a show where each week we discuss a new Best Picture winner in a random order. This week we are discussing the 1972 Best Picture winner, The French Connection, directed by William Friedkin.
William Freakin? William Freakin what?
Friedkin,
Oh, Friedkin.
pronounced Friedkin.
Gotcha. Well, he's a freaking bad director, I'll tell you that much, but okay.
You watch this movie and you're like, yeah, bad director. Didn't do a good job.
The direction was fine. There was a lot of other things I had many problems with this movie.
Really? Okay, that's interesting.
Can I come out the gate and just say
Wait, hold on.
Go ahead. No, do your yeah. Sorry, I'm jumping ahead.
Directed by William Friedkin, written by Ernest Tidyman, I think that's how you say his name. He wrote the Shaft books, starring Gene Hackman, some French boys, and Roy Scheider of Jaws and all that jazz. And
I was in Jaws.
go ahead. What are your problems? Out of the gate.
Well, did you like this movie?
I love this movie. I think it rules.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm so surprised.
Why?
Have you seen it before?
Yeah, I've probably seen it like twice. I haven't seen it, I don't know, since I was like maybe. I'm probably seen it in like 7 or 8 years. It's been a long time.
Oh, okay. I mean, I don't mean to taint it for anybody if this is
No.
your.
It's good to have a differing opinion. This makes for a more interesting conversation, I think.
If I'm being honest, in my fingers crossed, I think this has to be the worst movie that we're gonna watch in this exercise. I think it has to be.
Shit.
It has to be.
That's crazy.
So,
Let's go through it.
okay.
Do you want to start? Do you want to start from the beginning of the movie, or just you have bullet points of what didn't work?
Let's give a sense of what it's about. Like, what's the
Okay.
premise here? What are we doing? Why are we here watching this film?
So the premise is, it's a super simple movie. At least
Yeah, it was.
There's a lot that's unsaid, but it doesn't really need to be said. Basically, there are these two undercover cops, Gene Hackman, who plays the character Popeye Doyle, and Roy Scheider, who plays, I think, forget his goddamn character's name. I can look it up, but I'll get to that. But Popeye Doyle gets like a whiff of some kind of weird drug thing happening. He starts tailing this guy. It eventually opens up to these French, like, kind of drug pushers who are bringing, is it heroin?
It's heroin, yeah.
Yeah,
Good
bringing
stuff.
hundreds of whatever, like a ton of heroin to New York to sell
Many
it for like millions of
kilos.
dollars.
Yeah.
Basically, and that's like basically, and then it's the undercover. It's Popeye Doyle and Roy Scheider, who I think is playing himself in the movie.
What?
I was kidding. Them just sort of trying to follow leads and trying to tail these guys and whatever. So, and you
A
hated
lot
this
of
movie.
tailing. They tail
so
for so
good.
long. There's, oh my God. It's like just long stretches. Okay. When the movie starts, I'll say what I like about it first. Because when it starts, I'm thinking, God damn, I'm a cool guy for even just seeing this movie right now. We got Paris vistas. It's framed beautifully. We're jumping from Paris over to New York, gritty New York streets. And I'm like, this is about to be a really cool movie. And I'm going to
It
feel like a cool guy.
it starts like the movie to me is like so propulsive. Like it starts I think it's Marseille. I think that's the city, but it's in France. This guy, you never find out why he's following these like the kind of the drug people who end up being like the main antagonists of the movie. But he's just like tailing them. And then eventually maybe he's part of like the French police or something, but uh he buys a baguette. He's
Oh,
tailing
yeah.
them. Then it cuts to him buying a baguette. He goes into like his apartment. He's checking his mailbox. A gun enters the frame, shoots this like assassin shoots this dude. And as he's leaving, he pops off the top of the baguette, and the assassin does, and walks out of frame. And you're like, what the fuck is going on?
That was the peak of this movie,
It's
I have
really
to say.
cool. It's like a
Yeah.
really like you're like, what is this? It's so intriguing.
That was cool. I was like, we got a baguette in Paris. This checks boxes. All right, we're checking boxes. We're checking boxes. And then we are introduced to Popeye Doyle, who you mentioned is the main detective,
As Santa Claus,
as Santa Claus.
and Roy Scheider as a hot dog vendor.
Yes, and I'm like, these guys they're really in it. They're undercover. This is gonna be cool. Now there's this foot chase. Santa's chasing him down. I'm like, this is great. This is gonna be a good time movie. And now Santa starts beating the absolute shit out of this guy, who I'm not sure what he did or what he was accused of, but I'm like, all right, back off, Santa. I'm like, I guess this is just how they did it in the 70s. You proceed to find out that Popeye Doyle is probably the most incompetent, alcoholic, chauvinistic, racist piece of shit cop that's ever been put to cinema. I don't know. I mean, maybe others. I haven't seen very movies, but I was like, oh, this guy has no redeemable qualities. It was like that. I'm like, this guy has to get tossed something, like he's on a path to redemption, right? No, he just sucks the entire time. And his partner just kind of goes along with his terrible notions. He just has these hunches and he's like, all right, we got to tail this guy. The entire movie, you don't even know what they're doing. They're just following people for reasons that they don't know. The audience is in the dark, just like these cops are. Just like these guys, they don't really know what they're doing. They're acting on a hunch. I'm experiencing that. But then we're never enlightened. They never tell us. I feel like I just never know what's going on. They're just following people for the sake of it. And it's so slow. But not slow in a tense way. You know what I mean? Like how did you feel when they were tailing this guy for 20 minutes?
Okay.
It was just a stakeout. I felt like being in a stakeout.
It's interesting watching this movie now. And while I was watching it, I was trying to think about what the intention was when it was being made. I think they are trying to make a movie that is gritty and realistic and depicting cops in a more grounded way than is usually depicted in movies. I mean, the 70s was an era of like uh kind of more grounded stories, less like kind of like super real, kind of dirty, scummy locations, stuff like that. Popeye Doyle is like a classic loose cannon. He's like the archetype loose cannon that's in like all these like cop shows and movies and shit.
Yeah, but not in a fun way.
Not in a fun way, and also the loose cannon, I think in those shows tends to be correct by the end.
Yeah, like his
And
hunches somehow end up correct.
Yeah, and Popeye Doyle is always like he the drug bust happens, but like an innocent woman is sniped from the top of a building.
And he doesn't care.
He doesn't really like yeah, and then like he's chasing this guy across streets. He's like running his car, just like almost hitting pedestrians, just like almost like he does have a few collisions like in the car chase.
Yeah.
He he's just like he does suck. And I think it's interesting watching it now. I mean, again, I don't know what the intention behind like the movie, the filmmakers making the movie. I don't know what the intention was, but it's interesting watching it now because it's like, oh, this is a movie about how bad guys and cops are both terrible, and basically they just both walk these very like morally gray lines.
Okay.
Well, not even the bad guys. The good guys walk morally gray lines. The bad guys are like, yeah, we're dealing drugs and we're bad, but we want money, so it's fine.
Right, but it also didn't feel like an indictment of those behaviors. Popeye, who's the main character, he walks into this bar, shakes everyone down, takes all their drugs, like weed, pills, all that stuff, puts them in like a beer glass, and then shakes it all up and throws a Sharpie in there and shakes it all up. And he's like, how about that, huh? What do you think about that? And he's like, look how good of a detective I am. Look at this. Look how flashy and cool I am. I just made a drug milkshake. And everyone's just like, we don't care. It was so thoroughly weird. I was like,
Yeah.
I wanted to laugh, but I was also like almost sad for him.
Yeah.
Like, he just thinks he's doing cool things and he's not at any juncture in this movie.
Yeah. It's like he thinks he's the cop hero in a story, and it's like, oh, everything this guy does is kind of like abhorrent
Right.
and ugly.
Right. Like, this guy so it's alluded to that he has a checkered past where in some altercation he shot another cop.
Yeah.
And he doesn't show any remorse for it. He's just kind of skating by hoping that, this bust is kind of like his last. It's like his last resort, so to speak. Like, this is his reputation hangs on basically arresting these French people who he has almost no evidence against, and pretty much never does throughout the entire movie. They just miraculously pull a bust together, and then they try to bring them in. They have no evidence on anybody, so they all get like a year or less, and the main French bad guy escapes and is never caught. And then it says this is based on a true story, and I was like, what?
It is based on a true story. Yeah, it's like it's based on a book. I don't know if the book is just like a like a nonfiction account of this case, but yeah, it was two cops who over the course of like 10 months busted these like French pushers,
Okay.
heroin pushers. Those two guys probably sucked. Like they were like, yeah, so I would say something really racist here. So Gene Hackman, you should say something kind of racist. You know what I mean? Like what?
Or they're on set like trying to make themselves look like heroes, and then the director's like, "Oh, you guys are kind of actually we're gonna make you guys look not that good."
That's a good point. It's like, oh, so you were the lead detective, you're the Gene Hackman role. So
It's like, that's right, we got him in the end.
yeah. I'm not gonna totally make a movie where like that guy is like really morally dubious.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It kind of has this weird resolution in the end where They can't catch the guy. It ends with this gun chase where they're running through this warehouse trying to catch this main French bad guy. And he shoots another cop, Popeye. And then doesn't care. And then they get transferred to, I don't know, where do they go? Rhode Island or something? So he's just a... So the whole movie, he's just a terrible person, and he gets moderately punished. And it's like, okay, it would have been weird if he was rewarded for his terrible antics, but I can't help but think, like, why was this movie made? Why am I here? Why am I seeing? Why is this in my eyes and ears right now?
Where is the lie, though?
The
That
lie?
he was barely punished for his terrible actions. Where's the lie?
They got transferred. What do you mean?
Is that a punishment, though?
Yeah.
Punishment would be like jail time, or
He should have gotten. He should have gotten. Yeah, he should have been prosecuted. At the very least, he should have been fired. Yeah. But they transferred. I don't know. It was just like this weird dissolution, and I was like, "Who? Who made this?"
You're like, when, where, who, and quite frankly, why?
Yeah, why? Why was the big one? That was the big dub.
All right,
So tell me why.
Let me say a few reasons why I love this movie.
Okay.
I think
before you start, I'm ready to pick apart every single thing that you say right now.
Okay.
I'm kind of locked in that way. My brain has already been set, and I can't change my mind. So go ahead.
I feel like I feel like I'm entering a minefield right now.
I'm ready to be your total antagonist for the next 5 minutes.
You're my Frenchman, or you're my Popeye Doyle.
Don't equate me with that loser. Why do you like this movie?
I don't just like this movie. I love it. I give it 5 stars on Letterboxd.
Oh God!
I love this. It's fucking okay.
This movie barely eclipses a 2 in my eyes. Just
and I
barely.
love that. This is what this show should be. This is what this show should be.
I think it's a mostly bad movie with a few redeeming characteristics.
Okay. I would love to hear those redeeming characteristics or more on them in a second.
I'll get to them.
First of all, I love that so much of the information is not spelled out or said. And the fact that the movie is coherent visually, it seems like you
love the fact that they filmed things. Is that correct?
Like, it's coherent just like based on just total visual like storytelling, and like what we're seeing and what the characters are doing is like really cool. Like, I love a movie that's like pretty, like, where the information is, it's like Tenet, like where you're like, what the fuck's going on? They're not really saying what's happening.
Like Tenet.
This movie is Tenet. Absolutely. I watched it. You didn't watch it backwards?
I did watch it. I own this movie. I watched it forwards, backwards, and sideways.
I love all the tailing shit so much.
God.
Give me a second. Mm-hmm. Sir, put your hand down.
Okay.
Because it's just like, it's like New York in the 70s, and it's just like all these like, New York is like the best city to film in. It's just like any fucking street you film down is interesting.
Yeah.
And like, it feels like a lot of the setups feel like they were captured, like the street wasn't really closed off, the sidewalk wasn't really closed off. It feels like people are actually just going by when all this crazy shit's happening.
Mm-hmm. Those are probably real people.
Yeah, it feels like such like an alive movie. Like, you can feel the city alive in it. And I just love watching these fuckers walk down the street and like duck behind corners, and like it's cool.
I think it suffers because its main character is ultra mega ass.
Yeah.
And I think that's a bit of an anchor to this whole affair in my eyes.
How would you rewrite Popeye Doyle? What redeeming characteristics would you give him?
I would throw him straight in the bin. I would get a replacement day one. Or you know what? Fine. If I have to modify this version, I think I would just make him, if he's going to be a bad cop, make him like a comically bad cop. I mean,
Like,
there are
he's always dropping his gun, and he's like, oh,
he just. I mean, he already almost is.
shoving donuts in his mouth.
I mean, he does shove pizza in his face, which is.
Yeah, it's really cool.
I don't know if it's cool. I think it's a sign that he's bad at his job. Standing in full view of his perp that he's trying to catch, just shoveling pizza into his mouth and
Dumping coffee in the street like a cartoon
Dumping-
character.
he's just. And he's like, is he like screaming at his partner? He's just like so obtrusive.
Popeye Doyle can't feel anything at like below a 7.
No.
Everything's 7 or higher.
Which is just, I don't know.
He probably
Reckless way to go through life.
fucks really weird.
You know what? It's funny you say that because I thought the exact same thing watching this movie. I was like, how did this guy fuck in this movie? How did he pull that off?
Yeah.
I just don't like him. He just doesn't carry this. He doesn't carry anything for me.
I will say, I hear you. I will say, Gene Hackman, first of all, Gene Hackman 41 when this movie was released.
I couldn't tell if he was 12 or 65.
It really is great. Gene Hackman right now is 93 years old. He's still alive.
Gene Hackman lives?
Yeah, so he retired from acting in like 2004 after the release of the masterpiece Welcome to Mooseport.
Great.
Welcome to Mooseport?
Can't wait to get my hands on that.
Actually won Best Picture, so we'll cover it.
No, it didn't.
No, it didn't.
That's like the sequel to Hoodwinked or something.
So he was 41 in this movie, and I agree. He like weirdly looks like a baby, but also like an old baby. It's so strange.
He's the oldest baby on screen.
What's crazy about his performance, though, is like setting aside like the characteristics of Popeye Doyle and like whether we like him or not.
We don't.
In the sort of the chase set piece, like at the start of it when he's like going up the building, did you like clock the way he like hops the railing over and onto the stairs to get into the door?
It was kind of janky, I remember.
But also like smooth for a guy who's in his early 40s.
Right, but doesn't he like jump back and forth or something? Also, he gets no redemption because a baby is literally shot in this scene and he does nothing. A baby gets sniped.
Well, no,
They
the
sniped a baby.
mom
All
is
right.
killed.
Oh, right, the mom gets sniped and
Yeah.
the baby's crying and he's like, I gotta catch this perp.
But
also,
so
bad shot, right? If you're aiming for him.
Yeah, what's so funny is that guy's supposed to be like a really good assassin, and like he hits just an innocent woman.
He's like,
And
oh,
that's it. That's
slipped. Yeah, and that's it. He just sprints.
Slipped.
Oh, greased it.
Shouldn't have been eating a baguette. He's always eating baguette.
He's always eating bad. Well, it's that's the French Connection, baby.
Then when he commandeers the car in the chase, did you? I mean, it's really him driving. He like drives really fast, like swerves around a parked car, jumps the sidewalk, and goes the opposite direction. I was like, Gene Hackman, stuntman?
Is it actually Gene Hackman driving?
It's actually Gene Hackman. I mean, you can kind of see him just like jumping. Like it's not like he's like ducking like a stunt driver's actually. I also read an interview with William Friedkin where he was like, yeah, a lot of the driving is Gene Hackman. And I'm like, that's fucking insane.
It's insane that they couldn't get a stunt. I feel like the budget for this movie
had a
was
stunt driver.
negative.
They had a stunt driver.
What did he do? Just sit on the side?
I think he did some of the like the crashes and like stuff like that. I think like driving really fast down like the streets where he's swerving in and out of traffic, but like a lot of it is Gene Hackman driving.
So the fun stuff the stunt guy didn't even get to do. He just had to crash.
Yeah.
Quite the profession.
You're telling me.
Who ran against this swill?
This swill was up against A Clockwork Orange.
Okay.
Stanley Kubrick's
Haven't seen
famous movie, and I don't really like it. Fiddler on the Roof.
Musical?
Musical. The Last Picture Show. Peter Bogdanovich movie, which probably maybe deserved to win. I've only seen it once, and it was when I was like 15 years old. So, and then something called Nicholas and Alexandra, directed by Franklin Schaffner, who did
Whom?
he directed Patton, which won Best Picture the year before.
I haven't seen any of those, but I have to imagine most of them, if not all of them, are better than this.
That's totally valid. I don't know. I think I might like Last Picture Show more than this. But otherwise, I think French Connection would be my pick. I mean, Fiddler on the Roof, I'm sure I would like. I don't know if I would like love it though.
Want to hear the truth about this movie? What the people had to say? Because I got the answers. I got the answers right here. I fell asleep on my silly little bum while watching this, and I didn't finish it. I'm gonna be honest.
So you can't accurately review the movie.
Well, he fell asleep on his silly little bum. Why? Because there are 40-minute trailing missions.
That's okay. I don't know if that's necessarily the movie's fault. He just probably needed it.
Yes,
now.
it is. It's entirely the movie's fault. They shouldn't have made it so slow.
I've watched movies that I love, and like halfway through, I'll be like, God, I'm fucking tired, and I can't watch this anymore. So I'll just like take a nap and come back to it.
You've had movies where you just stop it in the middle, take a nap, and come back?
Actually, as I get older, that's usually what I do.
As
Is
I
I'll just
get
like
older?
I'll take a break. I'll be like, too much content. I need to take a break, and then I'll consume different content and come back to the original content and finish it. And I'm crying. I'm weeping tears of joy.
Why?
I'm sweating from the tense chase. I'm
You're a
dreaming of
father.
kissing Popeye Doyle.
No. You can't be.
I said it. I want to kiss the little bald spot in his head. And he wears that nice little fedora on there. Take it back. Take it back.
Sorry.
Take back that vomit. Swallow your tongue, sir.
One hop this time. That's a bad take. I would not kiss anyone on the forehead, let alone Popeye Doyle, and not on his back bald head. Okay.
Would you kiss Roy Scheider? Roy Scheider's kind of handsome.
Yeah, he is kind of handsome.
Yeah.
But he's a bit of a sap. He gets strung along. So
He has no backbone.
I kind of just feel for the guy. You know? But yeah, maybe I would kiss him on the back of the head. I don't know. 1 star. In what way is this a good movie? Mediocre acting, glacial pacing, bad writing, music that makes me claw at my ears. Seriously, I want to find the composer and pull his fingernails out, which seems a little
My
drastic. Couldn't disagree more on that. I'll say the sentiment is there, but I do think the score bangs.
It bangs.
Yeah. When they're running around, it's like the ba-bum, bum, ba-bum, bum, ba-bum.
I will
like
say
that.
the score almost feels like it doesn't totally fit the vibe of the movie, but also works completely. Because like it feels like the music to like a 40s cop show where it's like, we gotta catch the perp, see? And like they're driving around. Like, you gotta tail the whatever and like go, you know?
Exactly.
And this movie feels like it's trying to be gritty and realistic, and the music feels like a little bit bombastic, but also it fucks. So
I don't know how realistic it is. How much of this is based on the real story?
everything is false except the pickin' feet and Poughkeepsie part. That's true.
What does that mean? They say it like 8 times.
I don't know.
I'm picking, or you better.
I think it
you better
basically
not
means
be
like
picking feet in Poughkeepsie. No, were you picking your toes in Poughkeepsie or something?
I guess it's slang for like, are you holding drugs or have you interacted with drug people or something?
Picking
But also
your feet in Poughkeepsie.
in the opening scene, it seems like they're like the guy who they chase and like brutalize.
Yeah.
It seems like they're trying to just get him to admit to something he didn't do, just so that they have something to bring him in.
But they're trying to get him to confess to a nonsense thing. Like, what crime is that? You have to say what crime you're accusing someone of.
Have you spoken to the bridge troll recently?
I'm like, what?
Officer, huh?
Oh, then you're going downtown. You poked the bear, and now you have to pay.
You poked the Popeye.
You poked the Popeye. There is there a sequel to this movie?
There is.
What is that possibly about?
Can I tell you the hook?
Please.
I've never seen it. I probably will never watch it. I hear it's like fine, but the hook is Popeye Doyle is
He's
like,
back?
oh, he's back
Christ.
and worse than ever.
Christ.
The basic premise is, I think, basically he's like going after some drug person. This drug person like captures him and gets him addicted to drugs. Like tortures him by drugs.
Okay. Why?
And he like develops like a drug habit.
Is this after his transfer? Because they get transferred at the end, right?
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't really know. I don't know if it takes place, if it's like maybe a prequel sequel, or if it's just like maybe it ignores the ending of this movie.
This is an alternate they've been experimenting with parallel universes.
Yeah, actually, yeah. French Connection Part 2 is actually the first multiverse movie.
Oh, Christ. Ant-Man is in French Connection too.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
the French guy is King the Conqueror. Did you not know that?
Is that true?
No.
Because you could probably tell me anything and I will believe you. Go ahead.
That's really dangerous.
I'll believe anything you say.
I'm pregnant with the Pillsbury Doughboys.
Wow.
Babies.
Plural?
Yeah.
Huh.
That's off the record, the multiple part,
Right,
but
right. I'll cut that, yeah.
yeah, thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I am a dough man.
Yeah. That is agreed. You are a bit of a doman.
So we like this movie. We think it's good. We recommend it.
One of us does. I would say I think the music is funky. I think everything else is just wrong and bad. And it all stems from its main character, who is unsympathetic, unlikable, brash, stupid, dumb, just a not very nice man. I just couldn't help but wonder, like, why was this? You know?
This is you at a podium honoring William Friedkin with like a Lifetime Achievement Award.
God, I just can't help but wonder, why was this? You know? Why was this done? Who is this for? Why? What are we doing here? Why did it just amount to... I felt like it just amounted to nothing.
Fair enough. I mean, I feel like movies of the 70s, this is such an interesting time in American film. And I can't wait to talk more about these movies. It is an era where people are redefining what kind of movies are and can be, and what kind of stories should be told, or not should be, can be told.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes they end up kind of being about nothing, really. I mean, there's elements where it's like, oh, that's saying something, but like ultimately it's like, I don't know.
But it didn't really seem like it wanted to portray that still. Like, it didn't want to be still. But it was very slow. I couldn't bond with any characters in French Connection. I was a little bit, how I say, French disconnected. And you can take that to the bank. It's going to be my new catchphrase. You like it?
Take that to the bank.
And you can take that to the bank.
Actually, I've been trying out a new catchphrase. You want me to tell you what it is?
Yeah.
He's right behind me, isn't he?
Chills. Chills in my bones, dude. Wow.
Yeah.
And you can take that to the bank.
Yeah, I think mine was better.
Okay, yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see. Time will tell.
Follow us on Letterboxd. I feel like
Yeah.
I feel like you're the kind of plugs guy. So
I'm the plugs guy? Is that that's my
a
role?
little bit. I feel like you gravitate to the plug, so plug it.
I'm trying to run for office, so follow me on Letterboxd. Ander hates films. No at. There's no at. It's not Twitter, okay? And that's it. You don't need to follow anybody else. I'm good. I have a new list out on Letterboxd. Top 10, not even top 10, just the best space movies. Just any movie that predominantly pertains to space. Ranked them. You can check it out. The first one will surprise you. Rhymes with Jathura. And you can follow Mike.
Yeah.
Mike O'Brien.
Do you not know my name? You're like, is it Michael?
Mike, right? Yeah.
You can follow me on there. I give most things 5 stars because I'm a cuck.
Honestly, I respect
I'm a cuck
that.
and I'm a simp for cinema.
You know what? That's fine. You love cinema. I think most of it is probably trash, right? Most of it is probably just fine.
And that's why we're great hosts. I'm like, every movie is
I
a
wouldn't
miracle,
say-
and
I
you're
don't
like,
think
every
either of us is a
movie,
great
every
host.
movie is bad to find.
Most of it is junk, I will say. I mean, I don't know. It has to appeal to my tastes.
Yeah.
But don't let me stop you. If you want to watch this terrible train wreck of a movie, you go right ahead. Because there is a train wreck in this movie.
It's really good.
Kind of a piece of junk.
You're a piece of junk.
Hmm?
What? Said, I think you're a piece of junk.
That's what I thought you said.
And
And you can take that to the bank.
See you next week, folks.
See you next week. Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4. These boys only want the best stuff. They want the cream of the crop. They don't want none of that Michael Bay shit. They want the shit that bops. Oscar bait, black and white. Maybe something French. If it's got more than one explosion, honey, put that shit on the bench. Oscar Wieners. Oscar Wieners. Oscar Wieners. These boys are the Oscar Wieners. Oscar Wieners.
Let's try it
Yeah.
again. Let's run it back.
Let's do Zathura this time.